Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We were speaking about generosity, and we spoke about how this is one of those sublime characteristics of a human being. One of those characteristics that would take us up the ladder of excellence, of divinity. How Allah wants us not to think, not to have a consciousness, a thinking of competing for resources or be like animals, but to be above them, higher than them. We have characteristics like generosity, and next to it is also the characteristic of selflessness, where we don't think of the self, but we think of the us and we and the collective, what is important. Let us look at Surah Baqarah, ayah number 207, where there is an example of someone who showed excellence, who showed selflessness, a person who lived his entire life for Allah and for the sacrifice of Allah and for the pleasure of Allah. He sacrificed his whole life for Allah Azza wa Jal, Jalla Sha'na. Allah says in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 207, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَشْرِي نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ رَؤُوفٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. And from amongst men is someone who sacrificed himself, who selling himself for the pleasure and satisfaction of Allah, and Allah is most kind to His servants. We find this ayah was revealed for the excellence, for the obedience, and for the love of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib salamullah alayhi, when on the night of Hijrah, when the Quraysh came and they wanted to kill the Holy Prophet on the night of Hijrah. So the Holy Prophet had to devise a plan in order to fool the Quraysh, and then someone had to sleep in his bed and be camouflaged with the clothes of the Holy Prophet, and even the amama of the Holy Prophet, the turban of the Holy Prophet, and that person had to look like the Holy Prophet. He had to fool the Quraysh. And who was the one who offered himself to be killed for the sake of Allah in order to protect the Holy Prophet? Who was that? It was Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib salamullah alayhi. And in this ayah, Allah showed how a person must be or should be selfless. And so beautifully, this holy ayah is not addressing Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, those believers. No. This ayah addresses who? وَمِنَ النَّاسِ, all people. Selflessness is found throughout cultures, throughout religions, throughout nations, wherever it was displayed. It is not necessarily a characteristic of the believers, but you find it everywhere where Allah admonish people to be selfless. And then when you enact truly and sincerely for the love of Allah, then Allah addresses you as Ra'ufun bil ibad. Allah is kind to His servants, to those who serve Him. Let us on this day be like those who are selfless, who don't think in terms of the I, as we've said in Surah Al-Fatiha, where there is no Iyaka a'bud wa iyyaka asta'in. Oh Allah, you I worship and you I ask for help. No, we're supposed to say we, us. Let us think in terms of us. What is good for the collective, what is good for everybody, not what is good for one or two or a small group, but what is good for the collective. That is selflessness. May we, inshallah, Allah make us successful in inculcating and in establishing that within our character first. Everything we say here up till now is first advice and admonition to ourselves first and then to others. May we have this in our DNA, in our characteristics, in our dealings and attitude with people, where we think and where we sacrifice and where we are selfless. Inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.